So we told you this might happen as more cities and states hike the minimum wage, and President Obama keeps pushing for a 39% hike nationwide. More companies are looking to replace workers with cheaper machines. McDonald's said to be testing a new mobile app that lets customers use their phone to order food. Then you pick it up with no need for a cashier. Sabrina, are these protesters pushing themselves out of a job?
Yeah, I mean, this is the law of unintended consequences. Be careful what you wish for. It's so easy for big corporations like McDonald's or Walmart or others to want to see the minimum wage go up for two reasons. One, they can push out their small mom and pop competitors, right? And the second is it's easy for them to get rid of those low-paying jobs with things like Square, which is an app to transfer money, or as you suggest, we won't need cashiers. So there's all sorts of ways that this will actually help the big corporations while hurting the little ones.
Well, Bruce, nobody's against progress. Progress is a good thing. If people automate in ways that make things more efficient and cheaper, that's good. But the fact is, these folks may be pushing businesses just over the edge. It wasn't affordable for them to do in the past, but when you hike the minimum wage, it is.
Well, I think that when it comes to technology and apps and so forth, I think that the businesses want to do what's best for the customer. I really don't think that companies are sitting in back rooms and the late Steve Jobs or Paul Allen are saying, you know what, hey, let's create something that's going to make things more efficient and use lower labor costs. I mean, you know, the minimum wage, I think, it needs to go up, and rising tides lift all boats. It's time for that.
But, Mike, are the minimum wage hikes pricing some workers out of existence?
Well, that's always been the case, David. Unfortunately, I think when it comes to technology and increasing productivity, a higher minimum wage hurts companies because it lowers profits, and that's where the money comes from to increase technology. This last quarter, where GDP was such a dismal number, actually had the lowest productivity figures since 1990 in this country. It shrank by the largest amount in 24 years. And you don't want to start monkeying around with a higher minimum wage under those types of circumstances.
Right. And Rick, I love The Simpsons, the TV show The Simpsons, and what's the name of the boss in that?
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns, a mean guy, Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns.
I mean, most bosses, let's face it, particularly small companies, they're not like Mr. Burns. They care about their employees. They really don't want to get rid of them, but sometimes they can't afford to keep them.
There's a really simple answer to this question. No, it's called progress. Progress has been happening since time began. And if McDonald's can put in a system that makes it easier for them and their clients, it's got nothing to do with the minimum wage. And I got to say something to Sabrina. Sabrina, I got a news flash for you. If you think that the minimum wage is going to result in large companies shutting down mom and pops, I have one word for you. Walmart. It happened a very long time ago. Today's minimum wage is not a factor in that discussion.
Sabrina, I'll give you a chance, but I want to get Bill in, and then we'll come back to you. Go ahead, Bill.
I think that there's a problem with high minimum wages that goes way beyond whether things get automated, and that is the customer. A lot of the people who shop at Walmart, a lot of the people who patronize McDonald's franchisees are not very wealthy. And if the hamburger costs more because the hamburger supplier costs more, the hamburger worker costs more, guess what? They eat at home. That's the problem. And you can see that very well at Starbucks. After all, Starbucks could easily eliminate a lot of what goes on behind that bar with automation. They don't, because they want to present an experience where you see your coffee being made. But if the cappuccino's $5, you stay home.
Sometimes that experience is just beyond. If you raise minimum wage, that experience goes away. You can't afford it.
Yeah, but I really do think these two are unrelated. I tend toward Rick on this one. The reality is businesses are not in business to create jobs. They're in that to create profits for shareholders. And if you look at cars, computers, the internet, they were huge job destroyers that ultimately created much better jobs because they led to profits. I think robotics and automation will be another thing that makes business even more profitable, which means they can expand and create more jobs down the line.
All right, so you can respond to Rick's Walmart comment. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, there's only one hardware store left in where I live, and I think it's because of big box stores. Of course, I'm not saying that there's a problem with that. I like being able to get affordable goods and lots of different kinds of goods, but the fact is they do push out small businesses, and we have to realize that they're able to absorb these costs, these mandates differently. And to John's point, look, I'm all for progress. I'm just saying that if the government gets in the way and pushes up the minimum wage, then they are going to be these low skilled jobs are going to be lost, and it's going to be because of government intervention, not because of progress.
And Mike, that's the point, is that the protesters, the folks who are out there striking, they want to keep the workers in power, they want to pay them more money, but it's ridiculous. They are fighting progress, are they not?
It's the union bosses, David, that are fighting progress because the money flows up to their coffers from the fees that the union workers pay, and that's what they get to influence government with.
Last word, guys, we got to leave it at that. Coming up, President Obama citing France when pushing his new workplace rules, why they could mean au revoir to U.S. jobs. On Cashing In at the bottom of the hour, but first right here, Dirty Jobs host Mike Rowe, we love that guy. He's standing up for businesses that shame suspected shoplifters by posting their pictures in the store. Is he right, or is that dirty business?